Be calling you a radical. There's the greenwashing bus. All electric, clean air, clean air. Where do we get electricity in Utah from, kids? You got it. Fossil fuels. Now this is going to be solar canopy. Why is not the whole state solar? So I want to dive into this fucking lies. Tell me lies. Tell me. These marine biologists. Now Kevin Blanch, the real fucking marine biologist. This is another study coming out on the Great Pacific Genocide, as I named it 2011, which I hypothesized the Fukushima meltdowns were going to, well, they were meltdowns. I'm the only person on Earth that was reporting they were meltdowns, and they're going to go into cover-up mode that it was going to genocide the Pacific Ocean. It's going to cause a heat dome over the western United States. And by the way, this fucking heat bubble that is happening over the western United States here in Utah, oh, it's epic. We went to 100 degrees in early June. It's fucking, we usually get, a few days in later July, 24th, that region. It's been like this now. We're going on 2 fucking months. The empty greenwashing bus. So 2 fucking months. This heat fucking dome is no fucking joke. It's brutal. And so over the whole fucking Western North American continent, which hypothesized by Kevin Blanch. Now stay with me. There's another study coming out, well funded by the feds, everything. Yeah, the marine ecology has collapsed. Why? I'm sure as shit, the great cop-out, which I think that's what I'll tag this, they're not scientists, the bootlicker cop-out. Global warming. Okay, we know global warming is very real. But global warming did not, and by the way, this study says that the blob started in 2016. That's total bullshit. I was the first one, I'm the guy that named it the blob. I'm the first one that was reporting it, and I was reporting it in late 2012 and 2013. I heavily documented the blob in the ocean. You could physically see it. Me and John Kirk up there in Vancouver, fucking Washington. And so we heavily documented the blob. I'm the guy that fucking named it the blob. You could physically see it, and we were all over this. Lori and I down there in San Diego did so much work on the fucking blob in 2013 and 14. They're saying which is factually inaccurate. My work is the accurate work. Now, they're saying they're verifying my work again. Here's more verification of Kevin Blanch's historic, the greatest marine biologist in history's work. Yeah, there was a acute collapse of marine ecologists. I did it in real time and everybody laughed at me. I'm a butcher, what's a cake? So it's August 7th today, right? I was out at the Enola Gay hangar all day yesterday. The only one, by the way, even Jim wasn't there. It was me. The people that were there, because Speed Week's out there, I bet you I talked to 15 people, including a young woman that worked there. It's for real. I said, it's bomb day. What? What's that? They're out there for Speed Week, so they're bored, just looking for something to do, and they're going over there. No, it's bomb day. Huh? The girl that worked there. She says, what? I says, I'm a butcher. What's a cow? I'm a baker. What's a cake? I work at the Enola Hangar fucking museum. What's the bomb? Jesus. The unconscious America is getting fucking freaky. Really fucking freaky. So, I post this article 79 years ago today. Herbert Hoover, who did not cause the fucking economic collapse, who was a fucking genius. He was an environmentalist. He was a human rights. He won so many fucking awards for so many different fucking things. He sure the fuck didn't cause the Great Depression. He invented the stoplight, among other things. all his work in the banana republics down there trying to fucking block Freud's fucking nephew. Fuck those fucking creeps. Today, 79 years ago today. Never in the history of mankind. Now, this is important. Stay with me. We go all the way back, the Spartans, the fucking Romans, all these fucking wars, you know, Waterloo, everything, these brutal fucking wars just going at each other for fucking thousands and thousands of fucking years, many thousands of years. And it's true what he said. It's true. Now think about that. All those years of fucking wars were armies fighting armies. What he said is so paramount and so true. This great evil bloodlust empire. Now, if you don't think the United States is an evil empire, you're fucking in denial. And this empire is, well, it's not collapsing, it's already collapsed. The great fucking USA, when we were a socialist country from 1946 to 79, when the middle class had all the fucking power, it's over. I mean, it's been imperialized. It's old world order. Let's pay fucking Alex Jones to call it new world. I love all the radical fucking right freaks. You know, when the elites are piling being made, they fucking wish. Fucking, we hate the elites. We hate the 1%. We hate the 1%. But they vote for anybody who cuts the tax rate to zero or funds hands the same people. Fuck, you don't think cutting the tax rate to zero on the global elites empowers the global elites? I mean, paid to do it. Never in the history of mankind has any nation, as any military, as any people indiscretionally mass murdered women, children, till now. It revolts my soul. United States of America, Aug.7, 1945. Herbert Hoover. Everybody was anybody once said. These genocidal maniacs have to fucking. I don't think people paying attention what genocidal maniacs are running this fucking country. Vietnam, Kissinger, whoa, fucking Wolfowitz, fucking Bremer, fucking. Look what we did in Afghanistan. Nobody from Afghanistan laid a fucking hair on anybody ever in the history of the fucking United States. Same with Iraq. Look what we did in Iraq. You're talking fucking 2 million. Talk about My Lai massacre on fucking Balco. Talk about revolts my soul. It's disturbing. It's fucking disgusting. 79 years ago today, you go talk to 900 people, maybe one or two will even know what I'm talking about. They're unconscious. They don't want to know. They're living in their fairy tale bubble. They don't care about their health. The air quality is so horrific. The entire western United States, it's not just California. Fucking most of all of northern Idaho's on fucking fire. Lots of Montana's on fire. Utah's on fire. Fucking the whole western United States, Oregon, it's on fire. Alaska's on fire. Fucking all of fucking Canada's on. I mean, this is all fucking. It's not a coincidence. I proved it. It's not a coincidence. So you're telling me the great fucking cop out. You're telling me the cop out. Global warming. So I've been going to all these people. These are the real bios. First, should I pause it? This is a fucking heat source unforeseen in the history of mankind. It's not Chernobyl. That was one fucking graphite reactor, brand new reactor with no spent fuel pools. Blew up 780,000 men entombed, including a mining operation. Why do you think they mined? Because China syndrome is very real. Fucking Fukushima has proved that, which I named Delmar Argentina syndrome. What did we do at Fukushima? We covered it up. We didn't do nothing. Ask Rahm Emanuel. I want to ask all you people that write these things. Do you get up in the morning and fucking, or late at night before you go to bed, do you have a statue of Rahm Emanuel and J. Robert Oppenheimer? And do you put it up there and do you pray to that? And then thank you for giving my golden handcuffs and my comfortability and my fucking. Comfortability is not the zenith of life. In fact, it's the opposite. Look in the mirror. Fuck, you people look like shit, you fucking marine biology. You college professors. I remember college professors used to be good looking and fucking powerful and strong and dynamic people. Look at them now. Oh my God, it's grotesque. So I go on to that and say, so what you're saying is global warming started in 2012. Every one of these studies says the same thing. The fucking blah blah thing. 2012, 2011, 2013. Every single fucking one of them. And every single one of them in their conclusion saying global warming. That's not a conclusion. It's like, let's run for the cure on cancer. Why don't you talk about the cause? You know, by the way, I see the gay rights baseball player, Bean, died of AML yesterday at 60. Now, you do know where he lived. Born and raised, Santa Ana. You know where Santa Ana is. Orange County. Very near San Onofre. You do know the San Onofre had a fucking nuclear accident. Oh, steam malfunction. They opened the valve of that core and plumed it all over Santa Ana. That's an unarguable fact in fucking 2012. You know, Fukushima. I cannot believe how many people I've met since I was given 2 months to live. Fuck, I got hammered right here. Now, this is important because Barack Obama on March 17, 2011 told the fucking one of the greatest lies in human history. Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. That's the third, when they full well knew that he didn't. That's what now. How come CBS, ABC, fucking Reuters, BBC, all these fucking news stations, these propagandists aren't sued into oblivion? How much fucking death did that fucking lie? 22 a day. Just how many fucking innocent lives were lost because of that lie? Not to mention depleted uranium. Well, how about Barack Obama's lie? On March 17, 2011, on the White House, the plume is coming over us right now. Scientists tell us it's safe. No need to take precautions. When he knew full well that was a fucking lie with malice, and I'll tell you how. Emails of his aide, Sharon Mills, were coming out at the exact same time that was leaked out by WikiLeaks. The plume is coming over us right now. It's radioactive. Don't go outside. If you've been outside, wash your clothes. Fucking take a shower. Iodine tablet. Got to talk to Henry before I go to Fukushima, the great evil empire. And I like it how there's fear porn fucking sites. Everybody's sending me stuff all day. Oh, radiation in Russia. Fucking the big Z. Fucking, you know, one of the reactors out there. Fucking the fear porn freaks are so fucking afraid of nuclear react. They're so afraid of a nuclear meltdown. A nuclear meltdown gonna happen, could happen, fucking might happen. They missed the main event. But they're not afraid of the fucking 4 full blown out fucking nuclear meltdowns that happening. And you're telling me there's no byproduct for that? So we know. So I go at everyone. So you're telling me global warming started in 2012? I'm telling you, I know that. Well, that's factually a lie. That's a lie. So how do you call yourself? I want to know. Every one of you so-called, I'm a butcher, what's a cow? I'm a baker, what's a cake? I'm a Weber State fucking Marine Bio. I mean, what happens when the #1 school of business in the United States, bar none, Weber State, Kevin Blanch is the Michael Jordan, the Bill Russell, the student professor there. What happens when you kick Michael Jordan off the Bulls? Fuck, they probably won 4 or 5 more. They become the worst fucking team in history. What happens when the #1 school of business right there in the United States kicks Kevin Blanch off? That we were first for 10 years. Beating Wharton, Brayton, Harvard. We're worse under investigation. That's what happens. No, a real PhD. I did the fucking work. You fucking, the rest of you are a bunch of fucking bootlickers. How can you go through now and regurgitate my work that I did in real time on the starvation, the gray whales, starvation event 2012, the humpbacks, starvation event 2012, the tide pools fucking wipe out fucking 2012, the heat dome over the western fucking United States, over the western North American continent, fucking 2012. Fucking every one of these fucking studies is coming out confirming, as I did in fucking first you hypothesized on. These are full blown out meltdowns. They're gonna lie. They're gonna circle the fucking wagons, and fucking it's gonna cause a heat source unforeseen in the history of man. It's gonna cause a heat dome over the western. It's gonna get into the trees. How about the fire scenario? When did that all start? 2011, 2012. Every one of we have 12 fucking 13 years of data. We can plug in regression. And now you're verifying all my work as I did it in real fucking time. What I'm gonna do? Stay in the fucking academia bootlicker fucking circle, put my golden handcuffs. Maybe I can turn my fucking work over to the J store and hope Aaron Swartz can download the fucking server. The fuck's the matter with you fucking companies? You're not PhDs. In fact, every one of you fucking so-called PhDs, you studies, you professors at Weber State, this is a state tax-funded university. Just like fucking, by the way, so is Cal Berkeley. Now, Stanford's a private fucking bootlicker institution like Harvard, but how about UCLA, USC? San Diego State. How about up on the hill in La Jolla, fucking their scripts, those criminal derelicts? You should fucking take your every penny that you've made post Fukushima, and you should be sued and required to give every fucking penny with interest back to the taxpayer because you defrauded your students, you defrauded the public, and then you have the nerve to go out and say, I'm mystified, I'm baffled, I'm stumped, I'm fucking curious, I'm alarmed, I'm bewildered. It's fucking bullshit. And then you're going to say, oh, just global warming. So you're telling me global warming started in 2012. That's what you're saying. Because your study says the event 2012. Every one of these studies says the event fucking triggered in 2012. So you're telling me global warming started in 2012. That's exactly what your fucking study's saying when you write your conclusion. In your conclusion, you have to first, number one, you have to hypothesize the knowledge. These are full blown out. Then you have to show me your field work. Where's your observational work? Where's your field? You don't have any. I did all of it. Where's your work? We know factually that global warming started fucking several decades ago. The same time we tore out all the streetcars and bowed fucking Operation Paperclip to fucking the auto industry. I mean, the rest of the world doesn't do this. Cars are up 6,000% since 1979. Well, actually 7,000%. Fucking, there's more cars registered in fucking Utah and California than there are people. When we had streetcars, of course that's going to cause global fucking warming. That's when it started, and the nuclear industry. Because nuclear, at the same time, what, you think all this fucking boiling all the Earth's water over and over and over and over, it comes out so much fucking hotter. Somehow you think that's going to cool the Earth? What about uranium tailings? Fucking, what about the nuclear waste being fucking moved all over this fucking country? Stored fucking everywhere. You don't even know about WHIP. So, you're frauds. My PhD's online, transparent for everybody to fucking see it. We know factually it is absolutely unarguable, gilded in gold, casted in concrete now. Kevin Blanchard's work is verified. We know the greatest outlier fucking since Krakatoa is 2011. What's an outlier? In science, we don't do coincidence, we don't do mystified, we don't baffled, we don't do fucking stumped, we don't do perplexed, we don't do curious, we don't do alarmed. We get to work. We prove. So you hypothesize the knowledge, it's a full blown amount, it's gonna break the eco fucking chain. The salmon collapse, fucking the Chinooker fucking collapsed in 2016 because they go to sea 5 years. It's a smoking gun. The type of all of it. Every regressionary model you fucking plug in points to the great outlier in 2011. Every fucking one of them. So now we have to start looking. We know it's unarguable, gilded in gold, casting something happened to the Pacific Ocean, the fucking Western North American fucking ecology, the spread to the global ecology. We know that. It's absolutely fucking unarguable science now. So we have to start looking for the culprit. There's only really 3 possible culprits. A fucking major meteor could have struck the Pacific Ocean and caused this. Oh, fuck yeah. It would have had to been a big one, but it could have done it. Did it? No. How about a fucking Krakatoa type event that fucking formed and coated a fucking black soot over the whole fucking, like it did in that century, 416. We know factually that didn't happen. What's the only other culprit? Full blown out nuclear meltdowns, 4 of them, and fucking 8 spent fuel pools full of the biggest load of MOX fuel on the fucking planet. Pushed into the Pacific Ocean for nearly fucking 4,900 days. Would that do it? Oh, fuck yeah, it would do it. Well, it did do it. I mean, it's unarguable. So, you're going to deny my work, and you guys can keep going along with your fucking fairy tale all you want. Herbert Hoover was right. Sick. History's going to look back on it. What took down the old USSR? What took down the old USSR? Gorbachev used to say it all the time. The meltdown, not meltdowns, singular. The meltdown at The nuclear energy meltdown at Chernobyl. The invasion of Afghanistan. Then the meltdown at Chernobyl. No spent fuel pools. It was a brand new reactor. One reactor, 708,000 megajoule. What took down the old USA? And if you think the old USA is not over, you're in fucking denial. The invasion of Afghanistan and the nuclear meltdowns at Fukushima. Oh, that's clear over there. Really? Jet stream moves left or right. Fucking, they're that ignorant. By the way, Yalta by the Sea, the United States 100% controls fucking Japan. That's the only thing fucking Barry Antoinette, a bummer dumber, ever said. Trump doubles down on the fucking cover up. You think that's a coincidence that Trump met with a bee fucking how many times? Huh. You know how old they are? Dragonflies? You know how old that species? You know how old they are? Almost as old as a horseshoe crab. By the way, horseshoe crabs are not crabs. 8 eyes. What, that species been around for what? 440 million years? Yeah. Hoover was right. Hoover was right. This country, this bloodlust freak show, what we did in fucking Iraq, what we did in Vietnam, what we're doing in Ukraine, our proxy war, what we're doing in the Middle East of fucking Eden, that fucking revolts my fucking soul. Fucking place is disturbing, it's disgusting, it's corrupt, fucking really out of control, fucking dead Ayn Rand grease, man. Psycho hyperinflation to where the money's worthless. Crumbling infrastructure, suicide rate the highest in the world, homeless rate the highest in the fucking world. Longevity headed fucking south, the worst healthcare in the modern fucking world. Fucking corrupt courts at the highest level. Corruption at every fucking level. Fake fucking scientists with their copy paste PhDs being outed everywhere. Fucking. Don't drink the fucking water. What a sickening fucking place. It revolts my fucking soul. Stay in tune.